Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most gripping storylines from ABC's General Hospital. Strap in, things are about to get intense. Sonny Corinthos, the long-standing mob boss of Port Charles, has been living under a cloud of suspicion. For months, he's sensed that someone inside his trusted circle has been feeding information to his enemies. His instincts, sharpened by years of betrayal and bloodshed, have been screaming at him that something's not right. Sonny's paranoia isn't unfounded. Time and again, his plans are compromised just before they unfold. Meetings are interrupted. Warehouses are raided. Deals collapse at the last minute. There's no other explanation. Someone close to him is leaking sensitive information. But who? Then, a personal crisis throws everything into chaos. Sonny is rushed into emergency heart surgery after suffering a near-fatal cardiac episode. Vulnerable and unconscious, he's a sitting duck in a hospital bed. That's when the unthinkable happens. Late at night, a nurse enters his hospital room, not to care for him, but to kill him. Disguised in scrubs, she approaches with a syringe, ready to inject a lethal dose into his foreline. But something goes wrong. Sonny wakes up just in time. A struggle erupts. The syringe hits the floor. He fights back despite the weakness from his surgery. The woman escapes before security arrives, leaving chaos and suspicion behind. Sonny survives the attempt on his life. But the message is clear: someone wants him dead, and that someone knew exactly when and where to strike. Only a person with inside access could have arranged such an attack. The betrayal cuts deep, and Sonny makes a promise to himself: he will find the mole and punish them without mercy. He begins a quiet, relentless investigation, keeping his suspicions to himself. Every phone call, every movement, every detail shared with his team is now a test. He watches for reactions, slips in behavior, mismatched alibis. Days turn into weeks. He narrows down the list. Everyone is under scrutiny. And then the truth hits like a freight train. Brick. Of all people, Brick. For years, Brick had been one of Sonny's most trusted allies. A tech expert and loyal enforcer, Brick had always been 2 steps ahead of the opposition. Or so Sonny thought. When evidence finally surfaces, encrypted messages, suspicious bank transfers, and surveillance footage. There's no denying it. Brick has been playing both sides. When confronted, Brick doesn't deny it. But instead of begging for forgiveness, he runs. Sonny puts the word out. He wants Brick found, no matter the cost. Helicopters. Checkpoints. Contacts in every state. But Brick is smart, and he knows how to disappear. He vanishes without a trace. Now, Sonny faces a new question: who bought Brick's loyalty? Brick wouldn't betray him for nothing. Someone with deep pockets and a personal vendetta had to be behind this. Sonny's mind races through the list of possibilities. Was it Tracy Quartermain? Her family's long-standing tension with Sonny has always hovered beneath the surface. She has the resources, the reach, and the motivation. Taking down Sonny would give her leverage in both business and family politics. Or was it Selena Wu? Selena has been slowly expanding her criminal empire in Port Charles. Her moves are calculated, and her patience is legendary. Getting rid of Sonny would open the door for her full control over the territory. Then there's Sidwell, the elusive financier with unknown origins and a quiet but powerful presence in Port Charles's underworld. No one knows exactly what Sidwell wants, but whispers suggest he's been building a shadow network to rival Sonny's for years. The waters are murky. Trust is gone. Sonny can't move without watching his back, and the pressure is mounting. As Sonny spirals deeper into paranoia, he starts changing everything. New protocols. New lieutenants. He taps in Dex and Ava for more eyes and ears on the ground. No move is made without a full security sweep. Sonny's empire begins to tighten like a noose around itself. Meanwhile, Carly steps in to support him. She may not always agree with Sonny's world, but she knows his instincts are rarely wrong. She warns him to keep his emotions in check. Because when Sonny lets anger cloud his judgment, people get hurt. Sonny listens, but barely. Across town, Dante, Sonny's son and a cop, finds himself in an impossible position. He starts looking into Brick's disappearance quietly, off the books. He's torn between his duty as an officer and his loyalty to his father. As the trail grows colder, Dante begins to uncover a pattern. Brick had been meeting with someone who always wore a disguise. The meetings were brief, and the location changed every time. But the one clue he finds, a key card from a luxury private suite at the Metro Court, starts to point the investigation in a whole new direction. Back at the Metro Court, Nina, still entangled in Sonny's life, begins to suspect that one of her high-end guests is hiding more than just wealth. She remembers odd phone calls, hidden briefcases, and one guest in particular who always paid in cash and used multiple aliases. She shares the information with Sonny, who connects the dots. All signs begin to point to Sidwell. Sidwell had the motive. He had the means. And now, it seems, he had the access. Sonny launches a counteroffensive. Quiet, surgical, and deadly. He taps into every resource, even reaching out to former enemies to find leverage. He sends word through the underground, Brick will be spared if he comes in with names. But Brick stays silent. In a last-ditch effort, Sonny sets a trap. He leaks false intel about a high-stakes deal in Puerto Rico. The bait is irresistible. Brick takes it. The ambush is clean. No bloodshed. Brick is taken alive. But what Sonny doesn't expect is what Brick reveals under interrogation. It wasn't Sidwell. Not directly. It was a coalition. Tracy, Selena, and Sidwell had formed a temporary alliance. Their goal? Remove Sonny from power, split up his territory, and end the Corinthos legacy once and for all. They knew they couldn't take him out in the open, so they tried to erode him from within. Brick had been blackmailed, his sister, held hostage overseas. He had no choice. The alliance promised her release in exchange for inside access. Brick gave them intel. The nurse who tried to kill Sonny? Hired by Selena's people. The hospital access? Paid for through one of Sidwell's offshore accounts. Tracy's role? Political cover and financial backing. Sonny is shaken. Not just because of the betrayal, but because of how close he came to losing everything. He realizes the war isn't over. It's only just begun. And this time, he's not just fighting to protect his empire. He's fighting for his life. He lets Brick live, but exiles him. He gives Brick just enough money to disappear, but tells him if he's ever seen again in Port Charles, he won't get another chance. Now, Sonny sets his sights on the alliance. He begins with Selena. Her operations start experiencing mysterious disruptions. Shipments lost, warehouses burned, her people arrested on technicalities. She knows Sonny is coming for her, but she doesn't flinch. The game is still on. Next is Tracy. Sonny exposes her financial involvement in a shady land deal tied to mob money, putting pressure on her from the IRS and the board of ELQ. Tracy retaliates, leaking confidential information about Sonny's past to the media. Then comes Sidwell. Sonny finally gets a name. The man's real identity is linked to a rogue intelligence network that had been dismantled years ago. Sidwell is a ghost, but Sonny uses his new tech team to start tracking his shell companies, bleeding him dry one asset at a time. Meanwhile, Sonny's health continues to deteriorate. The stress, combined with the recent surgery, is taking its toll. But he won't stop. Not until every last threat is neutralized. Carly tries to convince him to walk away, to let go of the revenge before it kills him. But Sonny is beyond reasoning. He's too far in. "You can't come back from this one," Carly warns. "I'm not coming back," Sonny replies. "I'm going through." And so the stage is set for the next chapter of General Hospital. Allies will turn. Enemies will rise. But one thing is certain, Sonny Corinthos is not done fighting. Not by a long shot. Next, we will delve into the swirling storm of drama surrounding Lois Cerullo and the explosive secret about Giovanni Gio Palmieri that threatens to shatter relationships in Port Charles. As tensions rise and hidden truths loom on the horizon, the question on everyone's mind is whether Lois will be forced to pack her bags and leave town once the full story unravels. In this deep dive, we'll explore the intricate web of family dynamics, the potential fallout from Joe's parentage reveal, and the emotional rollercoaster that awaits the Quartermaine family and beyond. Buckle up, as this saga promises to shake the very foundation of Port Charles. The fragile reconciliation, a mother-daughter bond on thin ice. Lois Cerullo's relationship with her daughter, Brooklyn Quartermaine, has always been a tightrope walk of love, misunderstandings, and mended fences. Recently, Lois took a self-imposed hiatus to Bensonhurst, seeking solace after a series of heated clashes with Brooklyn over personal boundaries and trust issues. The distance seemed to work its magic, as their reunion was marked by heartfelt apologies and a renewed sense of understanding, at least on the surface. However, beneath this fragile truce lies a ticking time bomb. Brooklyn remains blissfully unaware of the monumental secret her mother has been guarding with fierce determination. While Lois managed to smooth over past indiscretions, such as inadvertently sharing Brooklyn's pregnancy and adoption plans with Gloria Cerullo, the deeper, darker truth about Joe's origins threatens to obliterate any progress they've made. Picture this: a cozy family dinner at the Quartermaine mansion turns into a battleground as Brooklyn's world crumbles with the revelation. The hurt and betrayal in her eyes would be a dagger to Lois's heart, potentially severing their bond beyond repair. With emotions running high, can a mother's love withstand the weight of such deception, or will it push Brooklyn to draw an unbreakable line? The unspoken secret, Joe's parentage and the brewing storm. The heart of this unfolding drama lies in the clandestine truth about Gio Palmieri's parentage, a secret so profound that Lois and Gloria Cerullo have conspired to keep it buried for years. While the specifics remain tantalizingly out of reach, whispers in Port Charles suggest that Joe's roots are far more intertwined with the Quartermaine legacy than anyone suspects. Imagine the shockwaves if it turns out that Gio is linked to a long-lost branch of the family tree, a revelation that would rewrite histories and ignite territorial feuds. Lois, ever the protective matriarch, believed she was shielding her loved ones from pain by maintaining this silence, perhaps even convincing herself that the past should stay buried. But secrets in Port Charles have a way of clawing their way to the surface, often with devastating consequences. When Brooklyn stumbles upon this hidden chapter, possibly through an overheard conversation or a misplaced document, the sense of betrayal will be magnified tenfold. Not only did her mother keep her in the dark, but she also allowed Gio to grow up under a veil of lies, potentially robbing him of his true identity. The emotional fallout could paint Lois as the architect of a grand deception, leaving her standing alone as the storm brews. A house divided, Quartermaine fury, and an ultimatum. The Quartermaine mansion, a place already brimming with dysfunction and power plays, is set to become the epicenter of this family crisis. Brooklyn, fueled by a righteous anger, is unlikely to let Lois off with a mere reprimand once the truth about Gio surfaces. Envision a fiery confrontation where Brooklyn, her voice trembling with rage, accuses Lois of shattering their family's trust. With the unwavering support of Tracy Quartermaine, who thrives on maintaining the family's honor and control, Brooklyn might deliver a crushing ultimatum: leave the Quartermaine estate immediately. Tracy, with her sharp tongue and no-nonsense demeanor, could add fuel to the fire by labeling Lois a disgrace to their lineage, further isolating her. But it may not stop there. Brooklyn, feeling the weight of her mother's betrayal, might insist on total separation, demanding that Lois return to Bensonhurst indefinitely to give her space to process the hurt. Imagine Lois standing at the grand staircase of the mansion, her bags packed, tears streaming down her face as she looks back at the home she once fought to be a part of. The cold silence of the Quartermaine clan, once her allies, would be a bitter pill to swallow, marking a poignant moment of exile. The ripple effect: Port Charles turns its back. The repercussions of Joe's secret won't be confined to the Quartermaine walls. They'll ripple through Port Charles, tainting Lois's reputation among friends and foes alike. Heavyweights like Sonny Corinthos, with his deep ties to family loyalty, might view Lois's actions as a personal affront, especially if Joe's true lineage impacts his own circle. Picture Sonny, his expression a mix of disappointment and anger, confronting Lois at Kelly's diner, his words cutting deep as he questions her moral compass. Dante Falconeri, ever the protector of justice, could struggle with his own conflicted feelings, torn between his past connection to Lois and the pain her secrecy has caused. And then there's Gio himself, the young man at the center of this maelstrom. His reaction could range from heartbroken confusion to fiery resentment, grappling with the reality that the woman who raised him kept such a fundamental truth from him. The town's collective judgment might transform Lois into a pariah, whispered about in hushed tones at every corner. Social gatherings at the Metro Court could become a gauntlet of cold shoulders and pointed stares, driving Lois into a pit of despair and isolation. Will she crumble under the weight of public scorn, or will a flicker of resilience keep her fighting for redemption? A glimmer of hope, Gio as the bridge to forgiveness. Amidst the chaos and broken ties, there lies a potential beacon of hope in Gio Palmieri himself. Known for his compassionate nature and forgiving spirit, Gio might emerge as the unexpected hero of this story. Once the initial shock of his parentage reveal subsides, picture Gio sitting with Lois on a quiet park bench, the autumn leaves falling around them as he processes the weight of her choices. His heart, though wounded, may lean toward understanding, recognizing that Lois acted out of a skewed sense of protection rather than malice. This pivotal moment could see Gio advocating for family unity, urging Brooklyn to look beyond her anger and remember the love that once defined their relationship with Lois. Imagine a tearful family meeting where Gio, with quiet determination, pleads for reconciliation, reminding everyone that secrets, while painful, don't erase the bonds of blood. His influence might soften Brooklyn's stance, planting the seeds for a long, arduous journey back to trust. If Lois does choose to leave Port Charles in the wake of the scandal, Joe's role could ensure her departure is temporary, a necessary pause rather than a permanent goodbye. The road ahead: Lois's uncertain future in Port Charles. As the dust settles on this monumental revelation, ABC General Hospital spoilers hint at a seismic shift in Lois Cerullo's storyline. The looming exposure of Joe's parentage is poised to be a game-changer, forcing Lois to confront the consequences of her long-held silence. Will she bow under the pressure of familial and societal backlash, retreating to Bensonhurst to lick her wounds and reassess her place in the world? Or will she stand her ground, fighting tooth and nail to reclaim the trust of those she holds dear? Visualize Lois at a crossroads, literally standing at the edge of Port Charles, her car packed with memories and regrets, debating whether to drive away or turn back for one last stand. The narrative possibilities are endless, but one thing is certain: the road ahead will be paved with emotional turmoil, raw confrontations, and the slow, painful process of healing. Whatever path Lois chooses, her story will continue to captivate, pulling at the heartstrings of viewers who have followed her journey through every twist and turn. In conclusion, the saga of Lois Cerullo and the Gio Palmieri reveal promises to be a cornerstone of drama in Port Charles, testing the limits of family, forgiveness, and redemption. As we await the inevitable explosion of truth, one can only speculate on how deep the wounds will cut and whether love can triumph over betrayal. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel for all the latest updates, as we continue to unravel the intricate tapestry of secrets and scandals that define this beloved soap opera. What do you think? Will Lois find a way back into her family's hearts, or is her exit from Port Charles inevitable? Let us know in the comments below.